Good morning. How are you? We are on day 21 of the 30-day wellness challenge. And today's challenge is to do a mindset practice. Okay? Now, there's lots of mindset practices out there, so I invite you to Google and find one that works for you. But I will share with you what I do. And this is an accumulation of various different teachings and things from over the years that I've found have helped me, that I bring together in this mindset practice that I try to do each and every day. But of course, I'm not perfect and sometimes I don't do it. But I will share that with you. So when we're talking about mindset, what we're really looking at, for me, now I'm not a psychologist either, but for me the way that I look at it is that we are not our thoughts, we are not our mind. Our mind is something that we can use. Okay, it's like a tool. And a lot of the time, the thoughts that come up and that are there are really patterns and things we've accumulated over the years and fears and all sorts of things just sort of processing through. And what we get to do when we do mindset practices and work with our mind is to see which ones serve us and see which ones don't. Accept them all, but allow the ones that don't really serve us to pass by. Okay? To go, you know what? I don't know that I believe that. I don't know if that works for me today. I'm going to let that one go. I'm not going to get involved with it. Because what happens, and this happens for me, is that, you get so caught up in what's going on up here and all these different thoughts, and it affects everything. And if you can step away from it, and I use meditation a lot to do this as well, to really just look at them and go, that's not really me. That's not what I want to be thinking today. And this is not about negating or repressing any thoughts or emotions or anything like that. It's really just allowing yourself to look at it and to process it through and go, that doesn't serve me. I don't need that today. I don't think that's what I actually believe, because things come up. That's like, oh, no thanks, not today. Okay, and that's a difficult thing to do because we get so caught up in the stories and all the things that could mean and all those sorts of things. But these sort of things allow us to look at those and really process them and choose what we want to believe. Okay. So see how that goes for you. Now, the mindset practice that I try to do most days is the following. So first of all, as always, sit down, take a few deep breaths, right? Center yourself. Try to get out of all that head and drop into the body. And then what I try to do is I write down my intentions for the day. How do I want to feel? What's going on? What do I want to do today? Okay. And then I will do some gratitudes. Now, we did some gratitudes as a challenge the other day. We know how kind of good that feels, and really loving what we have in this moment here and now, right? And accepting the here and now, which is beautiful. So doing the gratitudes. And then what I do is a fear inventory. Okay? And oftentimes these are specific fears about something I'm doing, a project I'm working on, around like what the intentions were for the day, or they're just the general fears that are out there in the world and in my mind. And so what I find that this does is that it helps me to look at those fears. It helps me to get out from the overwhelm of them going through my mind all the time and look at them on paper. And it feels great just to write them out, okay? Because it gets them out of here and it puts them more succinctly, because sometimes they're very vague, but they feel really bad and really scary. So it often takes the emotion out of that when I get them down on paper. It also helps me to look at, are these fears real? Are these fears something that's really likely to happen? Am I just inventing stuff? And the more that I do it, and the more, you know, a lot of the same fears just keep coming up, keep coming up, keep coming up. But really just looking at them really helps to take a lot of that emotion out of them and go, okay, that's there, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, I accept that that's there, and that's a fear for me. But my pull to do what I want to do and create the life that I want to create and do the work in the world is much more powerful than that fear. Okay, and I focus on that. Sometimes I laugh at my fears and I'm like, whatever. And sometimes I cry and go, oh my god, this is so scary. And I need to, you know, process through that. So be kind to yourself when you're doing it as well. Sometimes it will feel really big and it will feel overwhelming. So be kind to yourself. Allow yourself the time to process it as well, especially the first times that you're doing it. Then I actually rip that page out. I offer these fears to the universe. I often speak it out loud. It's way powerful. You know, one of the teachers says to read it to another person. And they don't offer advice or anything, they just listen and thank you for sharing. Rip that out, burn it, and offer it to the universe. And saying, putting intention into these fears no longer serve me. And so I'm going to let them go. Okay, I've seen them, I accept that they're there. But they're not serving me right now with what I want to do. Okay? And then, this is using like the sandwich technique, getting into my desires. So what is it that I really want? What is it I want to do in the world? What are the desires done? Based on all that I've just done, the gratitudes, the fears, the desires, are those intentions still the same? And sometimes they will be, and sometimes they won't. And they'll need to change because I've just released a lot of fears, or there's some desires that have come up that I didn't know were there. And then an action list. I love a to-do list, but that to-do based on all that work that I've done. And so it feels more nourishing. It feels like, yes, if I do these things, I'm going to get to where I want to go, that intention. I'm going to feel how I want to feel. And it can be a beautiful thing. So that is what I do. Sometimes that takes 10 minutes. Sometimes that takes half an hour or more, depending on how many fears I've got that day, and how much processing I need to do. But that's what I do. So again, look after yourself while you're doing it, but see how that can help you to change the way you see a lot of things and help you to use your mind and go. And when those fears come up throughout the day, go, okay, you're there, you're still there. Great. Thanks for being there. You know, the fears are there really to help us protect ourselves, because, you know, we can't just go out and do any old thing, otherwise, you know, bad things will happen. So we need to know what the worst case scenario is. We need to know what could happen. But look at them, accept them, but what is it I really want to do? And having that fear, can I still do that? And does that desire really override that fear? Okay? Look after yourself and have a wonderful day.